This is something that's very different, as I have not found myself in this setting in quite some time. As you're coming into the room, let us know that you're here. Tonight we have a very special show. Today is the edition. The set presents Canna We Talk, the Halloween edition tonight, because of course you know next this coming Monday's Halloween. But tonight we got a special guest, and I don't want to tear up her name, so I'm not even going to try. I'll let the ladies tell you about that. But before we start the show, I just want to make one announcement, and then I'm going to bring the girls in. There was a young lady who I failed to mention last week, who I'm very happy to announce and very proud to share this moment with everybody. As it stands, right now, there's only 2% of people that are of Latino descent. You hear me? I'm all screwed up. Of Latino descent that make up lawyers in this entire country. And I meant to announce this, that I wanted to congratulate and recognize Miss Carolina Guadalupe Avila Saldana, who, after 3 grueling years, passed the bar exam. So now she is a part of that 2%. And we want to recognize and honor her for her accomplishment. Salute to her family, everybody who supported her, and to my friend who is her family member, her cousin, I believe, Miss Denise Cruz. So once again, Miss Carolina Guadalupe Avila Saldana. That's a full-on Latina right there with that name. Congratulations. All the best to you in your future endeavors and everything that you do. We wish you nothing but success and all the best. So with that being said, let me bring the ladies in. Everybody welcome the ladies of Canna Kitchen. There you go.
Hello, how's it going?
Hi.
Good evening, girls. How are you doing tonight?
We are good, and we are actually in the Canna Kitchen home base. So we've been cooking up some things like our empanadas.
Okay.
And some other goodies that we'll show throughout the show.
Nice.
We can't be in the kitchen and not cook. I mean, we are Canna Kitchen.
That is very true.
Canna Kitchen. We also got we also made some sopita de pollo, chicken soup, infused, because
I wish I had some.
For our fallen partners, Sally, Mr. A, yourself, that's not feeling 100%.
Not at all. Yeah, I wish I really wish I had some of that, but I think my wife, 7:04, she should be here in a minute. She's supposed to be bringing me some food. Excuse me. How are you girls feeling tonight?
We're good. How are you feeling?
Like shit.
You need to have some of the sopita.
You need to take a little bit of tincture and put it in your tea.
No, I can't do that no more. Remember? Todavía está esperando. I gotta give urine. I can't do that. But who knows? Maybe later on in the future.
All right, but your wife can. So.
Oh yeah. Listen.
Shout out to Lisa. Also, Lee. She wasn't able to participate. She's also not feeling well. And Sally, you'll be getting a special delivery later.
Damn, Sally's getting deliveries, bro. Look at this shit. Yeah, salute to Lee and to Sasson, man. They're not here with us. We all got hit with some funny shit. I came home on Sunday. I felt like I was having like mini flu. It was like on and off and just really weird. And I haven't been really feeling the same since. It's no COVID, but just something very strange, right? But so tonight we're having Malika is her name?
Malika, yes.
Okay. So Elise, I think you should talk about this. Elise just returned a little while ago from New Orleans. And why don't you tell us about your experience? Tell us about the city, and tell us about all the things that you learned about the culture in New Orleans.
So the first thing I'll say is that it is a wonderfully weird city. I mean, really, it's weird in all the best possible ways. But I will tell you, as someone who picks up on vibes and is very in tune, the city has like a vibe that has maybe spooky edges to it, not ominous, but you really kind of feel the spirits and know to be respectful if you have any sense. Right?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't want
You
none of
know,
that shit on me.
some people don't. One of the most interesting things that I found out is that we took a cemetery tour with this great guide, Fernando. He's
Okay.
a high school teacher in New Orleans, and he started giving us some background in voodoo. So a lot of the things that we know in the Americanized culture about voodoo are like so wrong, like completely wrong. They've been bastardized. It's been twisted into something ugly that should be feared. And the religion is not rooted in that at all.
We also owe that to like Hollywood, you know, like they just like
and colonizers.
Movies. Oh yeah, of course. Oh, we know that, but it's just Hollywood. It's just all these movies.
Yeah.
Can you name a
Believers. Remember the movie The Believers? Am I dating myself?
I haven't seen that one, but I know what movie you're talking about.
That movie, Jimmy Smits is in it. He plays a cop. He's not the main character. He's one of the main characters, but it delves into brujeria, santeria, and voodoo, and it's a great movie. But coming from our culture specifically, if you see this movie, you're gonna recognize a lot of things. And you're gonna be like, "Ooh," you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But let me let you ladies know. I believe Malika has joined the room, so why don't we bring her in and start the discussion?
Yes, excited. All right.
All right, wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to mangle her last name. I'm going to say welcome to the show, all the way from New Orleans, Miss Malika.
Hey.
Good evening.
Hey, how's it going?
She's a high priestess, so
okay.
High priestess Malika.
Greetings. Hi. I only heard like the last couple seconds, but I was like, yep, Hollywood. Yep, colonizers. Same, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, here in New Orleans, a high priestess of Louisiana Plantation Vodou, as well as an Olorisa and a Sode, which means I'm actually a full initiate of the goddess Oya. In Haitian Vodou, she would be Erzili Danto. And what happens, of course, in the diaspora, we ended up all over the place. So a lot of the spirits will have different names. Right. Some people that you talk to, it's hilarious. The spirit might have the same colors and the same offerings, but you'll have people tell you that that is not the same spirit. So it also comes down to who you're talking to, what their family line is. That's why there's not like a Vodou Bible or an Ifa Bible, because whatever you find online, it may or may not be in alignment with whoever actually initiates you and things of that nature. So yeah. So I don't know. Are y'all want to ask questions or how's that? I don't know how to.
Yeah, I have a question. You just said Vodou and Ifa. Like, what's are they related?
Yeah. So Ifa, and this is solely, what do they say? My statements are my own. Do not reflect on anyone else in the ATRs, the African traditional religions. Ifa is at least 8,000 years old, and it is the actual divination, is the religion of the divination that connects humans to God. Okay, so when you go to an Ifa priest, a Babalawo, or an Olorisa or an Ialawo, which is a godmother, the female version, father of secrets, mother of secrets, then they can do the divination for you. They're the only ones who can do the divination for you to get your messages from the divine. And it takes lots of years for them to learn all 256 Odus. And Odu is kind of like, I don't want to call it a fortune, your destiny, basically. So there's 256 different configurations that can happen. And so these people study for many, many years to learn all those different configurations and how to counsel. And so Ifa, Orisha is owner of my head. Ori means head. So Orisha is basically spirit who sits on my head. So the Orisha, that is the deity. Ifa is connected to the deity Orumala. But Orumala is also sometimes called Ifa because that's his role, is to be the diviner and the connection. So I see, this is the statement where I'm like, I'm going to take this. This is me. I see Ifa and Orisha as like the great, great grandmother of Vodou and all, Candomblé, Santeria, Lukumi, Kibanda, like all the African diaspora, because it all started in the west coast of Africa. And that's where Ifa is still like largely unchanged. Now it can also connect
today's modern world. That's very interesting.
Yes. It's very like, and it's interesting. What's also interesting is as a tour guide, before I had gone to Nigeria, to get my initiation as my Olorisa, which is full initiate to your Orisha, so of Oya. I had 2 Nigerian sisters on my tour, and they were like, nobody even practices that anymore in Nigeria, right? So I was just like, because that's the other thing about being in the diaspora, because you're like, it's hard to know what to trust and who to, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure somebody still. So when I got sent to Nigeria to get my Olorisa, and that was a whole thing too, y'all, because my mother had passed 10 years prior, and 10 years later, another life insurance policy found me. And I knew that that was to pay for me to go to night. I was like, okay, this is not a shopping spree, because I'd already had the money and blown it. And so I was like, when your mama sends you a check from beyond the grave, 10 years, you better take your ass to Nigeria. That's what that means. So it wasn't deep. Like, it wasn't like, I wonder what this means. So when I went to Nigeria, first of all, everybody that I was around, I was in Ibadan, which is like the biggest state in Nigeria. Everyone was Olorisa or Orisha or Ifa. The marketplaces had all the stuff you needed for offerings in Ifa. And so I asked my Olorisa, my godmother, I was like, why did these women tell me this? And she was like, ignorance. It's just that simple, because it's also easy to forget that in Africa, like, one country can have 50 some odd different languages. People have completely different cultures. So wherever these women were from in Nigeria, maybe they don't practice it no more. But where I was, it was like solid, like very out in the open, very present.
Wow.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to the practices and the belief systems that you have?
Okay, so this is okay. We'll get into the misconceptions. I will say that basically anything you find in the French Quarter gonna be a misconception. We're gonna talk about that as well.
Wow.
A misconception, appropriation. We have people who are of other races who did get initiated legitimately, but then they came back to New Orleans and they opened their voodoo shops, and suddenly ain't nobody of color in your voodoo shop. Nobody. Shouldn't one of us be propped up in a corner somewhere just
Wait
for
a minute,
look?
they gentrifying voodoo too? Is that what's happening? They're gentrifying it?
Oh, for sure. And it's like,
Wow.
And the thing is, honestly, people tend to be more comfortable, unfortunately, hearing about the experiences and the religions and the culture of people of color from not people of color, right? They feel like it's safer for them to learn from each other, which is just so skewed and messed up. But I'm gonna break down the main. Okay, so season 3 Coven of American Horror Story. That's a great place.
Dolls and how that is misinterpreted and misconstrued, please.
You said the voodoo dolls?
The dolls, yes.
You want me to start there?
No, just in wherever you want to start, but I also want you to cover that if you can.
There's just so much. Okay, so actually, yes, let's start with the dolls. Okay, so first of all, you will be inundated with them in New Orleans. They're gonna be at the gas stations by the cash registers. Okay. In the movie, you have the doll, you stab the doll. The person who the doll is of feels that stab. This is called sympathetic magic. It comes straight out of English witchcraft. They're called puppets. They're historically made of wax. And to my knowledge, even in English witchcraft, I don't think they're solely used for evil works, but it still ain't Vodou, okay? Now, what happened in the 1950s? Hollywood decided they're going to start making voodoo movies. They crossed this idea of the voodoo doll and the puppet. Now we have this idea of pins and dolls. 9 times out of 10, if you were dealing with a Vodouisant, which is what you call someone initiated in Vodou, or a Vodouist, who also was what we would consider a homeopathic healer today, they were probably illiterate, 1800s New Orleans, because it was illegal for people of color to read and write in the U.S. at that time. In order for them to keep track of what herbs they'd given you to treat what part of your body the last time you came to see them, they might have a little drawing of you, or they might have stitched or whittled a little doll. If the last time you came to see them, you were having a migraine, they're going to stick a pin in the head. There might be an herb trapped under the pin that's going to remind them which herb they gave you, so they don't make you sick, giving you something else this time around. So they're probably going to have shelves, because you're not the only person coming to see this person. They're going to have shelves of these dolls, pins sticking out of everywhere. I can understand how if you don't know what you're looking at, it would look very ominous. But they were early medical records. So as far as these voodoo kits here in New Orleans, I'm sure they're very cathartic. But you are not actually practicing Vodou, especially because Vodou is not by any stretch of the imagination evil. We're going to get to where that came from. But it's also important to note, we don't use voodoo dolls anymore because we're literate. They're not a thing. like at all. So this whole voodoo doll and the stabbing and all that, whatever. Now, I'm not going to say anything you put your energy behind has a chance of working. But also the universe believes in balance. Okay. And so, if you just decide somebody messed up your latte, so you want to start sending negative energy that way, things not going to go well for you. So yeah, so it's a little bit one of the biggest misconceptions. Now in American Horror Story Season 3 Coven, you have a lot of real Vodouism and initiates of the ATRs and the drum scenes and things of that nature. A lot of those drummers are the drummers that drum every Sunday in Congo Square. That's been happening since 1724. That is the birthplace of jazz. Apparently, American Horror Story did interview them and then I guess discarded when they were like, yeah, voodoo's not really what you're trying to make it. And they were like, oh, that's cool. We're going to just use the drumming scenes and the dancing. Then we're going to weave in some, cross cuts to serpents and all sorts of stuff that y'all did not show us. And we just going to, work for the story. Now, of course, it has to be said, the incomparable Miss Angela Bassett as Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau. Excellent casting. But I will say that the storyline got very disrespectful to the memory of the actual woman. And the way they portrayed Papa Legba, one of our oldest and most important deities, they turned him into like this white powder face, dreadlock Jamaican.
White?
No, white powder. The white powder, right?
Yeah.
The white powder face. Jamaican. He's not Jamaican, by the way. He's a West African / Haitian deity. How they ended up with Jamaica, I don't know. Jamaican deity with red eyes, eating babies and snorting cocaine. Okay, so to deal with this real quick, during slavery, so plantation Vodou came from us being enslaved, getting over here. We don't know the folk that we're living with now. We probably have different languages, but we're putting together that we're not going back home. So we have to start kind of sharing what we know from where we're from, and you get this kind of amalgamation, which means as a result, Louisiana plantation Vodou is closer to West African tradition than Haitian Vodou actually is. Because people were brought to New Orleans directly from the coast of West Africa. So there wasn't a stop off in the Caribbean for a lot of those enslaved. Now, in order for us to camouflage, right, while we were in slavery, we had to be baptized as Catholics. That was like one of the first things. Everybody had to be baptized as Catholics. So those enslaved found the Orisha and the Loa, the spirits, who had similar traits to the Catholic saints. They traded one for the other, so we continue to practice our religion out in the open. The idea that we syncretize, the idea that it's just like it was the same, they're interchangeable, that's what we wanted folk to believe. Okay, it was just like, we're just trying to stay alive while still honoring our spirits. Now, Papa Legba, he was syncretized with St. Peter and St. Lazarus. So the way that I tell people is, if you think it's absurd to show up at Catholic Mass with a baby and cocaine as offerings for St. Peter and St. Lazarus, then it is equally as disrespectful and weird to think about that and connect it with Papa Legba. Now, I know that there are some countries, South America, like there might be some herbs, things that are used that are not used in the diaspora, but the whole idea of him being this evil demon, I think that my altar sister Eshe put it really beautifully. Because we don't have a devil like that, it was the closest thing that the Western world could find to a devil. And so they just kind of slapped that name on Papa Legba. And he's actually the person you send. He's the spirit when he comes down. If he possesses somebody while you're in ritual, you send the children over to Legba, because he's like the grandfather that's willing to listen to every little part of their day. If you ever ask a child what their day, how their day was, they're going to be like, I woke up and then I brushed my teeth. And then Papa Legba want to hear all that. He want to hear all that. He's there with the rum and the candy. The rum is for him, the candy for the kids, and a little bit for him too. And he watches the kids so that you can do your ritual. So baby eating, like anything harming children, is pretty much antithetical to any West African tradition, any people of color that I know, because we know that the generations to come, that's who you living for. So that would be probably one of the biggest misconceptions. I would also like to say, took me longer than it should have to put this together. But the reason we have this idea, if everything I'm telling y'all is true and Vodou's not evil, why is there so much evidence to the contrary in the media? Y'all, we probably already know, but the only documented successful slave revolt to occur on land in all of world history was Haiti. Those Haitians over through the French, Then they overthrew the Spanish, and that scared the hell out of the Europeans. So the only people in world history to overthrow the slave master were the Vodouisans, and that is why they demonized it. Sorry, I interrupted you, sir.
No. Salute to the big sis all the way from Haiti, Miss Lunille Dubois. Constantly tells me about Haitian history. We have great exchanges. She's a wealth of information, but I just wanted to pin that. Ladies, I want to ask her a question. When you speak to people who follow certain faiths, speaking about there's another thing I wanted to point to. You're saying Vodou. Is that I would assume that's the correct pronunciation.
So I know of 3 pronunciations. There are probably more than this, just so we're clear. But 3 proper pronunciations. And I will say voodoo is none of the proper pronunciations, okay? Unless you're talking about New Orleans voodoo, which is now extinct. We're going to get there too. But let's
Vodou, call it retail voodoo, right? Retail.
Girl, okay, because I'm just like, what? Okay. The best way, once again, my altar sister Eshe, she's also the co-owner of we have a Black-owned tour company here in New Orleans. So we do like the blackest tours we can possibly do. And so the way she put it is, if you go to Japan and you visit a Shinto temple and you walk in that temple and everybody in the temple white, except for 4 confused looking Japanese people walking around, you probably gonna leave that Shinto temple in Japan and try to figure out where the Japanese folk are. It should be the same. The problem is a lot of people of color, we don't have all the resources that the Caucasians have. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. So they have the shops. We don't have the shops. We're still trying to get our online presence together and everything. But if you're walking into a voodoo shop, I don't care if these folks went to Haiti and got their initiations. I don't care if you went to West Africa, you a mambo and all this other stuff. If you don't have even, I'm going to say even majority, not even majority, 50-50. If at least half the people in your store that work there are not of color, that means you went to whatever country you got what you wanted from that country, and now you packaging it and selling it. That's what that means.
Colonized. You did a colonizer move.
Absolutely. And then you've got something else I learned. I'm not a Haitian Vodouisan, right? I'm Louisiana Plantation Vodouisan. But for Haitian Vodou, there are a lot of white people here initiated in Haitian Vodou. And of course, this also has to do with the fact that Haiti is a poor country, right? So these white people go over there to get their initiations, and the Haitians are initiating them. Okay. So most of the time, they're not necessarily getting what they think they're getting. Also, their lineage puts a block on a lot of what they have access to anyway. But because it's a poor country and people got to eat, they'll be like, sure, you're a mambo, you a ungon, whatever. And then they send these fools back to us, and we have to contend with them in the U.S. Because they think that they're legit and whatever. So there's that the exploitation, it's all an exploitation. And it's upsetting to see. However, the point that I was going to make is I learned that in Haitian Vodou, if you're holding a Haitian fete or a ritual and there's no one present with Haitian blood, it don't matter if you black, purple, green, it's not a valid ritual. You can't call it Haitian Vodou if no one with Haitian blood is there. From what I can tell from the DNA, it's tricky, whatever, but I don't have any Haitian blood, which means even if I was a Haitian Vodouisan and held a Haitian ritual and ain't nobody Haitian there, then it's void. So the majority of what these folks is doing is void anyway. But it is harmful because they are the ones selling the books. They're the ones with the stores. They're the ones pushing whatever. So, and they can point to where in Haiti and where in West Africa they got their initiations. So that's where it gets dangerous.
Right, because they have surface knowledge. That's it.
Right.
It doesn't have any depth to it or any respect. It doesn't have also, because one of the things I was telling my friends and partners is that when I went to New Orleans, you feel the energy there. You feel the vibe. And I was very respectful of that, right? When we went on the tour with Fernando, we had 2 girls, right? Mm-hmm. Colonizers, and they were just very disrespectful to him, to everything. They were drunk. They were just talking over him. When we did the pit stop, we had to wait 10 minutes for one to get back on the bus. She was like talking over him. He does this little thing when you go to the cemetery to walk out backwards. And she's like, ah, ha, ha. And she skips out frontwards and just having a disregard. Listen, just respect the
She'll
rules.
be having nightmares.
Whether you agree with them or not, have some respect, right? So that, you know, that white privilege and that white arrogance. I was just like, let me just.
I think a lot of people don't really understand, and I'm glad you brought that up, Elisa. You don't play around with this. You really, I mean, essentially, you know, you really should not play games. And a lot of practitioners of these faiths, you know, there are a lot of restrictions. You can't do drugs. You can't, you know, having sex in the same area of, and there's a lot of things that you have to like really toe the line, because you could fuck around and find out.
Come on.
And
Come on.
you know what I'm saying? You really don't want to do that. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't believe in that."
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
You ain't got to believe in it.
That leads me to my question, Malika. You know, a lot of people may be watching or will watch later on. And I was wondering if you would be open enough to divulge an experience that you may have had that really solidified your understanding and faith that you're a practitioner of now, that you could share with everybody.
So I think the best one, and one of my favorite ones to share.
Good question.
Is excellent question. Yes. I'm a member, or I've been on hiatus. Okay. But I was a member of the choir at my church here in New Orleans. Because, so just so y'all know, you said you didn't want to mangle my last name. So my last name is Friedberg. I am 50% Ashkenazi Jewish. Okay. But I was raised by my mama, who was, if she could be 110% black, she would have been like, she was an Africana studies professor, the whole nine. So I was raised extremely Afrocentric, and my father, the Jewish half, was also very supportive of that as well. So that means church was something I came up with. Now, I was sent to church because that's where I could be around black folk. My mama told me not to believe anything they told me, but she was like, you need to go to church to be around black folk. You're not allowed to get baptized so you understand what it means and all this stuff. All that is to say, long, arduous journey. Started getting involved when I was 19. Actually, it's a book by Louisa T. She's a priestess here in New Orleans, jambalaya. A lot of people have problems with that book. I'm going to just say it straight out. She is a black woman, excellent priestess, but I think she titled it perfectly. She mixes a lot of different traditions together. And once you get initiated in the African traditional religion, ain't no mixing. Like, you can be initiated in several different things. But if you're doing, like, I already had to learn the hard way. When I was in my initiation as a high priestess in Louisiana Plantation Vodou, when it was Oya's night, I was like, good, okay, so this means I can just serve Oya and Plantation Vodou. And the thought came into my head, which means I know it was not me. It was a solidified thought that made sense. That's how I know it's them talking and not me. But the thought was, no matter what, you better never turn your back on Ifa. And that is because I received her first in Ifa. And my name in Ifa is Oyagbire, which means my blessings come from Oya. So I was just like, all right, yes, ma'am. So I might be over here honoring her in Vodou, but I still got to do it differently for Ifa. And you don't get to do them together. So, but jambalaya was my first introduction to that. And then I started going to a very Afrocentric church when I was in Georgia, where in advanced Bible study, they teach Ifa. Okay. They on some next level. Okay. Shout out to First African Presbyterian in Lithonia. And that was my first time really understanding Jesus as an ancestor. Right. And that made my relationship with him so much closer. Because I was like, okay, he was here. We know that much we know. We know he was here. We know he was another person of color. And absolutely, absolutely don't play with things. Whew, Lord Jesus. But that was what fostered my relationship with him, was the relationship between the ATRs and understanding Jesus as an ancestor who died for me, much like Harriet Tubman died for me, much like Fannie Lou Hamer died for me. And that was just such a powerful understanding. But I will say that when I got my initiation, after getting my initiation as a priestess in Louisiana Plantation Vodou, I am someone who prides myself on I'm good at compartmentalizing. Okay. So I'm like, I'm in control at all times. Okay. So after I got my initiation, I was in choir practice, and I promise y'all, I started feeling myself getting happy, right? Like getting the spirit. I'm not somebody who does that. I'm not somebody who flips up and down aisles, screaming and hollering, but I felt myself ascending, and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And I was like, oh, this is an ancestor. this is an ancestor. And I've learned since that that's what that means. When people get the Holy Ghost in church, that's an ancestor rejoicing. And so I have an ancestor that, long story short, gonna get us both kicked out the choir because we share my body and she don't like to let go of the high notes. That was the moment when I really understood. I was like, oh, okay. Because you feel, you know, when the joy is not just yours, it's compounded by something and you feel like you just like you just about to float away. That was the experience for me. I was like, oh, this is, first of all, confirmation, affirmation that I'm on the right path, right? And also, I'm so much closer to the ancestors now. And I also got to watch them because sometimes they get me in trouble because they feel like they lived through slavery. So if they feel like my white boss need to be cussed out, then they just gonna cuss out my white boss with my mouth, though. And I got to put the bills. So
I love how she putting it off on the ancestors.
It is the ancestors. I know I gotta eat. They're like, girl, you'll be all right. We live through slavery.
Malika, I want to ask you a question, a little bit off the subject, but as someone who's Black and Jewish, do you have any opinions or any insights on Ye's latest statements and what's going on with him?
Wait up. Why? Why? No.
What do you mean why? She's Black and Jewish, so she should have.
Ah, man, no.
I have to ask this because
I'm just Josh.
He's Black and Jewish. You know that I do not shy away from the controversy. We have to talk about this because he's someone that I used to like, and he's, to me, my opinion, just my opinion.
Respectfully, I think Elisa just opened up a can of worms.
I've been done with him anyway. But my thing, and I think I upset some people on Facebook today, because I've always identified as Black and Jewish, right? Always Black first. Because my mama was like, that's how they're gonna treat you. So let's not even get confused and have a tragic mulatto moment. We're gonna nip that in the bud immediately. Also, when George Floyd happened, I realized how real that was, because it was like, oh, we don't share. I might share blood, but we don't share all the same experience. We are not living the same life.
You don't share the privilege. You don't share the privilege.
Exactly. So honestly, I know that I ruffled some feathers today on Facebook, but I told him, Kanye, I said, you done crossed the line, boo. I said, you can say that Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves. You can even say that our ancestors chose to remain enslaved, but you done fucked with the Jews. Now you done fucked up. You gonna find out. And so I got some comments. People were bothered by what I was saying, but I was like, no, it's a freaking fact. He said all this other stuff and didn't get canceled. And the thing is, I know it is a stereotype that Jews run the media. You can see all the Jewish names everywhere, but you also see other names everywhere. That's the other thing that we have to like remember. It's just that we know what Jewish names look like ethnically they stand out. But the bottom line is either we all need to be as untouchable as Jews, or we all need to be equally as touchable as Jews, one or the other. You should not automatically matter more than everybody else. And so it did upset some folks because I'm not Jewish enough. You know what I'm saying? I guess for some people, for me to feel like I could say that. But that is my take on it, is that he can say whatever he wants. You can totally desecrate everything our ancestors did. But you done messed up now. They're going to remind you Black today.
I agree. I want to thank you for coming on, for talking to us. Can you please let our listener know your business? Because I'm going to take my partner and my friends back to New Orleans. And we're definitely going to take your tour and meet you in person so we can have a one-on-one kind of tutorial. You're like a wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much.
Yes, please. I have an affinity with Oya. So like,
yes,
she and I are going to absolutely get along.
That's a good one to get along with.
Can I say something, Malika? Before you go, I just wanted to say this. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. I'm glad that you were open and honest and were giving of yourself to share this information, because not everybody feels that they should share this sort of thing with people. But I wanted you to know that I appreciate you coming on and being so honest. And just for the record, in their, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, in their belief system, if your mother's Jewish,
yep,
you are Jewish.
You are Jewish.
So
but they running out of, see, here's the thing, they're running out of Jews now. So the Reformed Jews will take the patrilineal. Now I don't have to I don't have to convert if I want to be, follow Judaism, because they're like, you know what, we'll take you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
we need
so
you. But tell everybody where they can find you, your socials, your website. Let everybody know.
Yes. The best resource, because it's going to send you to all the things, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the all things, is www.anansisdaughters.com. So that's ANANSIS daughters.com. And that, of course, we named our business after Kweku Anansi, the spider god, or the spider spirit trickster. He weaves stories in his webs, and he came
There's a kid's cartoon, Anansi.
Yep.
He's a spider.
Yep. That's where it came from.
My some fools watch that.
Good. Yep.
Did not know.
So that's why we're Anansi's Daughters, because of the storytelling. So if you find me at anansisdaughters.com, you'll be able to find everything. You can book readings. You can find out about all the different tours that we offer. And the goal is to use this as the platform to be able to open up a shop in the French Quarter. And that's by design, because somebody of color need to own a shop in the French Quarter.
Yes.
So yes. Mm-hmm.
We wish you much luck and success. We will always support, and we will definitely be in touch, because I'm bringing them back to New Orleans. So we definitely want to have the full treatment.
Of course, Missy Peel. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good night.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much, Malika.
Thank you.
All right. All right, this is something different, everybody. So tonight we had Miss Malika sharing her thoughts, man. That was very insightful. And now we have another guest. Elisa, why don't you sort of introduce this person before I bring her into the room?
So this is the people behind Terror on Lisa Lane, which is a haunted house on Staten Island that our partner Lisa went to. You went to. That's right. I was in New Orleans when you guys went. Yes,
it's a nice place. Honestly, it's a nice place. So if you have anyone has nothing to do, like on Halloween weekend, please stop by. It's on Staten Island, and
I believe someday they're gonna tone it down for a few hours, and they're gonna have a kid friendly. No, but Sunday during the day, I believe they're gonna have a kid friendly version of the haunted house.
Yeah, I think it's like kid friendly from a certain time to like probably 6. I'm not sure.
Yes, I think it's from 2 to 6. Let me check. Well, she'll better tell us when we.
Yeah, let's bring her in the room, ladies and gentlemen. From Staten Island, Miss Nicolette, and I hope I don't mangle her name either. Miss Nicolette Serrano. Good evening.
Hi.
Oh,
wait, your mic. You have to unmute to get it.
How are you?
We're good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
So tell us about your place.
Yes, we actually started at our house kind of like in the alleyway in 2016, and it grew into something that I don't think any of us expected. And we partnered up this year with a nonprofit organization in Staten Island. It's called New York City Art Cipher. They do a lot of events and funding for children that, help them get off the streets. Anybody who's troubled, if you want to do graffiti, instead of doing it outside on the streets, they encourage you to do it in the building. So 50% of our proceeds go to her, or to the nonprofit organization. It's located on 12 Broad Street in Staten Island, not far from the ferry. Our schedule is Fridays from, what's our hours on Fridays? Fridays 7 to 11, Saturdays 6 to 11, and Sunday the Not So Scary is from 3 to 6, which Not So Scary is really just a walkthrough of the place. There's 13 rooms and 2 walks of terror. Basically, we have a character that will host the walkthrough, but there's nobody jumping out at you. So if it's little kids, we encourage them to come at that time, because I feel like when it's busy and going, it's like 30 characters or more. So it could be very frightening for a child. On the Not So Scary, we do give candy bags at the end of it. Just something to give back to the community, something for people to go out and do. I feel like there's not a lot, especially in Staten Island. So Yeah.
Who else has dogs tonight? Is it just me?
Oh, sorry.
No. Because I'm hearing my dogs, and then I'm hearing an echo. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh,
I got the mic on mute.
I have a dog.
Okay.
The whole house is crazy. So
Hey,
don't mind.
it works.
And so you guys are a family business, correct? You do it with your husband, your kids help out.
My 3-year-old is in the show. Yeah.
They're in the show, right? Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Yes. I mean, seriously, guys, you have to go check the place out. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It really is. And I've been to a few haunted houses. I've even gone to Canada to go visit a few. And I have to say, it's really cool.
I have to tell you,
Marisol, shout out to Marisol and the girls from Coney Island that came out with us.
I'm actually afraid alone, but to scare people is really fun. To be scared, I don't know.
So do you play one of the characters?
Yes, I am. I don't know if you remember, there was a grandmother in a rocking chair. That was me.
Yes. Okay. But the little kids were spooky.
Yeah.
You guys really have to check it out.
Mr. A, you're on Staten Island, right? You should definitely go check it out.
Man. Nah, because then, I'm a little older and, you might scare me the wrong way. And,
Right.
You guys got insurance?
Hey, you not so scary.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to have to go. If I bring my son fools with me, they're aggressive. They might try to attack somebody. They're a little, I don't know, a little aggressive, I guess is the best way to put it. But it sounds interesting.
This was born out of you decorating your house, or how was this kind of born and conceptualized?
It was like our alleyway of our house. We decorated it, and then my husband was like, we should do like, he grew up in Brooklyn, and there was always like people who decorated and had characters outside, like on Halloween specifically, that like Michael Myers or somebody would dress up, and he was like, we could do this on the weekends, because we have so much free time, but we could do this on the weekends and people will come check us out. And it ended up being, the start of it was hilarious. Now that we look back, it was like a pop-up tent with like a folding table, and that was our hospital bed, and we had like a nurse and a doctor, and it just turned into something where like we lived kind of in a community where there was like no parking, people were complaining, the cops were always here. We had to eventually go commercial. It was also free for the community at that time. We would cook hot dogs, we would give out iced tea, it was a full event every weekend outside. But yeah, it evolved dramatically. Like we came from the pictures I look at, the makeup it looked like a 3-year-old did the makeup. Now we're kind of learning how and what not to do. So
that's really cool. Even like there's a scene there where there's like a concert scene. Oh guys, seriously, you guys have to check it out.
I will say, for the ones who are not afraid, I really put a lot of effort into the details. So if you're not going to be scared, at least I hope you could appreciate how much went into it as far as like the detailed stuff, like the exorcist room. It's a real bed. It's like everything. I went to thrift stores. I went garbage picking. I like to the T, like this is how it should look. And if you're not scared, at least I hope that you enjoy that a lot of work went into it.
So people are asking to give the address, the entry fee, all those details, if you can share it with us.
Yeah, it's 12 Broad Street, Staten Island, New York. The entrance fee is $20. Not So Scary is $12, but you can upgrade. So if you come with your family and you want to do Not So Scary, and then you decide you want to do scary, you just pay the difference, and you could come.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed that there's like you can only go in groups of like 3 or 4. Was it? Or
we tried to break it up. It's hard to like for the suspense. If you come with such a large group, then the person all the way in the back has already seen the person.
Which makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
They're smaller rooms, so it's hard to walk through with so many people. We do try to break it up to make it more, fun and enjoyable for for the group. I know a lot of groups want to.
We broke the rule that day though, because it was 5 of us.
Oh,
and the girls, no, they were like, absolutely not. We have to go together.
Like
and believe me, they were all scared.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, sometimes it ruins it for the one in the back who already saw the person jump out, and they're like, "Oh, okay." You know, we try to keep it at smaller groups. Obviously, we'll accommodate, you know, as best as possible. But yeah.
We also down like half a bottle of tequila before we
yeah, that doesn't
You're
help.
just spilling everybody's tea today.
Nicolette, how do you, I know this is only a once a year thing, but how do you balance the fun from the work? Like, are you able to, you guys, you and your husband and family, able to keep that balance throughout this whole sort of, you know, fun time? And
we do have moments where we're exhausted and it's a lot, and scheduling the cast and people calling out, and you know, we do have a lot of volunteers, so I have to take it with like, I can't expect, you know, I mean, I appreciate the help, and I wouldn't be able to be where I am if I didn't have the cast and the actors that help me, because I can't run the show by myself. So it gets stressful, but ultimately I feel like my kids, every year they can't wait for it again. So they make new friends, and it is fun. And at the end of the night, we get pizza, we turn the music on, we all clean up, we all chill. Like, it's a good time. I mean, it's all good people. And I feel like, I guess a part of it is like, I know it's a ticketed event, but I feel like we are supplying something for the family and the community to do. So it's rewarding, kind of. And I tried to keep like the price point in mind. Like, I get it. I have a family of 5. If I had to go and pay for a family of 5, you know what I mean? Like, some of these other attractions are very expensive, and I feel like it's hard for families to go out these days and, you know, spend $40 on one ticket. So I try to keep all that in mind, and it could be, yeah, some of it is exhausting, but I feel like at the point, if we're not having fun, then I just wouldn't go through with it.
yeah, it's time to pull the plug after that. Right?
Yeah. If it's not fun, then, you know, it's too much work to not have fun. That's for sure.
Of course. I think a lot of, you know, there's a few people in the room right now. We have Gina Furman here. We have Erica. Really, you know, being supportive about what you guys are doing. And I think it's a good thing, especially in this moment, that people start to remember that, you know, when you're putting yourself on the line for the sake of others, because it's work.
It is.
Right?
It
you
is.
know, a part of that reward is the appreciation. Like, you know, you make a little money, you donate to this foundation. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But that work is a lot. But at the same time, you know, you guys are really doing something like we used to do. You know, I'm probably a lot older than you. But, you know, me growing up, I could remember people in the community coming together to make things happen for kids and for families, just for the sake of feeling good, right?
Sorry.
It's all right. He wants to be involved.
I do appreciate you keeping it at a reasonable price point, because things are so expensive.
Or you just at the fair.
At the end of the summer,
I took
my 2 nieces to the 18th Avenue Feast. And by the time we were halfway through the feast, I was out $100. I was like, how the hell did this happen? This is
I can't
crazy.
even go to Coney Island anymore. I used to take my kids to Coney Island every Easter. I'm like, I can't afford this. I'm better off having a season pass at Six Flags. Like, it's so expensive. I don't know how families, I mean, I don't know. Everything is so expensive. It's very hard to, you know, and coming back from COVID and everything that's going on, I just kind of want to be, you know, conscious of everybody's, you know, what they're going through and feelings. And, you know, I took some rooms out that I thought were inappropriate for the past prices, you know, had to accommodate some things. We were open pre-COVID, and there was some things that I kind of changed due to COVID. Like, we had a funeral parlor in our last one. I didn't think that was appropriate post-pandemic. I thought that was kind of tasteless. So there are some things and some changes I made to kind of, I mean, I know it's still a haunted house and you expect these things, but I feel like for the, you know, to just be aware of what everybody has gone through.
No, it's great to have
Yeah,
that
we appreciate what
sensitivity.
you're
Yeah,
doing, seriously.
that's appreciated.
Yeah. And we support.
So one more time, please say the address, the
Yes.
admission fee, and the times that are. It's only on the weekends, correct?
Only on the weekends.
Okay.
Yeah. It's, and if you put it in the GPS for any reason, sometimes the address alone gives you like a faulty place. So if you put in NYC Arts Cipher, that's CYPHER. It's 12 Broad Street, Staten Island, New York. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday is from 7 to 11. Saturday is from 6 to 11. And Sunday, not so scary, from 3 to 6. And then the scary is from 6 to 10.
Okay.
Well, thank
Well, just
you.
hold on a second. I want to share this actually on the map. We haven't had a remote show in quite some time, so you got to forgive my messing around with all this stuff. I haven't done it in a while. It seems so foreign to me right now, and I can't really remember how I used to do it. I'm gonna post the address up for everybody to see. I'm also gonna post the information as far as the mission is concerned.
I've never had an issue getting there in maps, but we have had a few Facebook messages and Instagram posts that they put the address just 12 Broad Street and took them to some like abandoned. I'm not sure if it's like not accurate on maps or Google, or so I think it's accurate if you put their name in.
Here we go. So that's where it is on the map. 12 Broad Street, Staten Island. See where this dot is right here? I'm going to shrink it out just a little bit for more of you people to see. This is 12 Broad Street. This is
See, that's
outside.
not
Right here?
No. See, that's what's happening to people. So can you put in that search New York NYC Art Cipher? I'm sorry.
Let's see. No.
I've been having a lot of these complaints, and I wonder if some people are not coming thinking that.
So while we're
There
at
we
it,
go. Art
Nicolette,
Cipher.
quick question. What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm actually terrified of my own shadow.
The lady who's terrified of her own shadow has a haunted house.
My kids beg me. I'm like, nope, I won't sleep. I'm afraid of the haunted house. I'm like, don't shut the lights off. I panic. I have a flashlight. I can't do it.
So you're afraid of the haunted house that you set up.
That is funny.
Okay.
But I love scaring people. Like when people get scared, I'm dying under my mask. I think it's great. Like I love to hear them scream, but if it was me, I would not. I can't even walk upstairs when it's dark. Nope.
Oh wow, that is funny. That is funny, Mr. A. What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't necessarily have a favorite scary movie. I'm not a fan of like horror movies. Like it just like, especially now, I'm just like, I know this guy's arm is like fake. Like it doesn't affect. But as a child, I saw Exorcist in the movies. Yeah, like Exorcist. Ooh,
Yeah,
I
get seen all the time.
be holding my ears like this. No,
Don't.
yeah, Exorcist was very scary to me.
For me, and I saw it when I was 10 years old because my niece who's older than me took me, was Nightmare on Elm Street. Imagine seeing that in a movie theater, the Show Palace in Staten Island at 10 years old.
No.
I worked in a video store in the 80s. I had access to all those movies.
What was your?
All of them. Poltergeist. I don't know. Do you guys remember Poltergeist?
Of
Yeah,
course.
that one. So that one has
The
to
old
be
man riding by on the bike. You're all gonna die.
little lady. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, to me was, when the TV screen goes blank, and back in the day when you had the black and white TVs, sometimes that used to happen. And so whenever that happened, it would freak me out.
Is anybody in this chat, in this group right now, old enough to remember black and white TVs?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys are.
I remember.
You remember that?
Yes.
Nicolette, do you remember black and white TVs?
I don't.
I tube television. I don't know.
No.
I had to like that's the antenna. I mean, no.
Oh
Is that-
yeah.
He
Okay.
remembers the rabbit ears.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
And it had like I had to like fix it. It was staticky.
That shit had color, Nikki.
But I think it had color. I think it had color.
Channels at the knob.
Yeah. We were the remote controls. They were like, yo, go change
Now
the channel.
everything comes with a remote control. Like there's a remote control for everything now.
Yeah.
That is very true. Oh, wait, please repeat the not so. Oh, can Miss Zenobia Mercado wants you to repeat the not so scary times.
Yes, of course. Every it'll be this Sunday from 3 to 6.
All right,
If
so
for some reason someone comes and they have missed the not so scary hour and they want us to tone it down, I will accommodate for them. The thing is, the characters will still be in position, but they will not jump out. So
Okay.
they want to be escorted, like somebody walk them through. We can do that as well. Like I can accommodate any way. I just block off that time to give them, if they're really scared and they don't want anyone in the room, like.
I'm gonna have to go to Staten Island and check this. I'm gonna have to go check this out.
wait. Hold on a second.
Friday?
Nicolette, what's your
We'll be there
husband's
Friday
name?
night.
George.
George?
Yeah.
Everybody salute to George Serrano, man. Super supportive, playing in the background, feeding her the little information that she needs. Salute to Mr. Serrano right now, Mr. George Serrano in the building.
Free tickets in Texas.
He said you all have free tickets if you want to come
Oh
down.
my God! Listen,
Oh, thank you.
all right. Well,
Friday.
I'll give them,
Kathy's coming back to Brooklyn. Okay.
so I'm gonna give them to my baby sis here, Miss Mercado, for my
Okay.
two son fools, Asa and Josiah. They can go to the not so scary. I'm not going.
They could come to the thing. How old?
Very good.
Josiah now is gonna be 5, or he's 5 now,
Oh,
and
okay.
Asa's like he's 2 going on 30.
Okay, not so scary then.
Yeah, but he probably could do the full one. Josiah, I don't know.
So the 2-year-old's a terror, huh? He's in full
No, he's a
terror.
boss.
It's scary.
Oh, he'll tell you, no, I'm not.
I have had kids walk through there that are like, I don't know, maybe 7, that everyone at the end of the night was like, did you see that kid? He just walked through like, I was like, his mother should be, not a fear. Nothing could scare this kid. I was like, wow.
That's how it works for some of them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we wanna thank Miss Nicolette Serrano and the whole Serrano family over at New York City Art Cipher
Yes.
on 120 Broad.
12, bro.
12 Broad Street. Put in
12
New York City Art Cipher to get the accurate address.
Yes, thank you. I think it's been an issue, and I have been trying to. And I would like to. I'm not sure if she's listening, but Cynthia, she's the one who runs NYC Art Cipher. If off of our events, like Pat, when we're not running the haunted house, she does rent the location out for events, parties, anything. It's just like open. Basically like an open studio. It's like, you guys should check it out. It's a really nice spot. Yeah.
Cool.
We will. Thank you. Thank you for coming on also at short notice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys come check it out.
Yes, I'll be there Friday. I'll be there with my son and like a few of his friends. So.
Okay.
I'm going with her.
Message us and I'll have your tickets at the door.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So
We'll see you Friday.
Thank you so much. I'm the grandma in the rocking chair. I'll see you then.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Everybody, Miss Nicolette Serrano, the whole Serrano family. Make sure you go support them in this Halloween haunted house. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Wow.
So guys, before we leave, we want to show you what we cooked today in the kitchen.
Trick or treat.
So we first have, I'm going to lower this so it doesn't spill, some chicken soup that Chef BB made for our fallen partners.
Damn.
Our signature empanadas.
There's shrimp, beef, and chicken
right here.
Yo, can I say something?
Yes.
Everybody that's in the chat, if you have not had Kana Kitchen's empanadas, let me you any of their food, for that matter. If you have not had any of their wares, stop playing games and place an order, because
And
this food.
this is
Dile, yeah.
arroz moro made with frijoles, infused. It has some ham in it, some olives, and these are infused garlic mollo chicken thigh fillets made in the oven.
And they're made with these products right here.
And I'm sure they taste very, very good.
And
Look at the
these
Christmas moon here.
these are CANNA Kitchen's products.
There you go.
This is, of course, our signature CANNA frito, which we use to make all of these dishes. We also have our tinctures, which can be used to cook in soups, stews, can be used in teas, can be used to marinate meats as well. And then a variety of oils. This is here an avocado oil.
And then we have our olive oil.
Olive oil here. And this is our coconut oil. And again, all our oils, we can make them in indica, hybrid, or sativa. And then, of course,
Our flour.
our magical flour that makes everything better.
Wait, magical what?
Magical
Flower?
flour, yes.
Where's that at? Show me that.
Right here. Cannabis is a magical plant. Magical flower.
No.
Oh, Mr. A.
I was thinking flour, FLOUR.
No.
Stay tuned. We'll be making a lot of that
Stay
too.
tuned.
Yeah.
We may come up with
Yeah.
that
We're
next week.
actually working with.
We're working on a few other products to add to our menu list.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining the show, you're shit out of luck. I had a great time, ladies. I'm so glad you came to, to put it down today. Another Can We Talk edition. I'm sorry that, we're missing two people who are really under the weather. I'm still feeling like shit, but I stepped up to the plate to make sure that we got the show off, and it was really great, very interesting to say the least. And
Yes,
I can
it
smell that
was.
soup.
Insightful.
We had to pivot, right? One of the things that we learned that we're learning in this business is the art of the pivot, right? So the pandemic taught us that too. We have to be flexible. We have to pivot. We held it down for Lee and Sally. I hope you guys feel better. And the magical soup is on its way. Mr. A, get some rest. Thank you for rallying, to hold us down, because we're still novices. We needed, our leader.
But how are you feeling though? How are you feeling? You sound a lot better.
Yes, you do.
I sound better, but my body.
It's deceiving. It's deceiving.
It's the what?
Deceiving. You sound better.
It's deceiving.
Deceiving.
Yeah, I think the sickness sort of gives my voice a lot of bass, so it's like, oh, whatever. But my body aches that's really the issue. I think I need some oil for my joints, like the Tin Man. I think that's what it is.
You don't have arthritis,
Ponte Vicks,
right?
Ponte Vicks y ya. Ponte Vicks y ya. Ponte Vicks, ponte dos sueras y vete a sudar.
But hey, for real, what we should have did? We should have asked Michaela. What was her name? Michaela, the lady from earlier. We should have asked her for a gallina to make soup with, because fresh chicken, when you use it for soup, is man. That is the best.
That's fresh chicken, Papa.
That's
you're playing games right now. Right. I don't want to care. I'm gonna go crazy over here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for everybody coming out tonight. Again, salute to the whole Serrano family out here on Staten Island. To my sister Cindy, I'm gonna get you the tickets for the boys. Salute to our guy Chris Soto from Bree Shooter, stepped in the building. I saw you, brother. I saw you. I don't know if you're still here, but I saw you.
Hi, Chris.
Hola, Chris.
I hope Lee and Sally feel better. We'll be back at it next Wednesday. I hope everybody could join us. I appreciate everybody for showing up, and we'll see you all next week. Ladies, thank you so much for your support. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week.
We had fun.
Yeah,
we had a great time. Everyone have a safe and happy Halloween. We'll see you at the end of next month.
We out of here.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.